A couple found these precious items in the ceiling while renovating. Homes usually come with unknowns. Inside the walls, old pipes or mold might manifest unexpectedly. What this couple found was nothing like that. What began as a remodeling project turned into a scavenger hunt for the owner of the mysterious items that were hidden in the kitchen ceiling. With the help of social media, the couple was able to piece together what had happened and why someone would want to leave behind something they buried in the drywall. Megan and Bobby Capsidis are Arizona natives who bought a Florida home together in 2009. The couple remains in Sierra Vista, Arizona, while Bobby's mother lives in the Florida home. A few years after purchasing the home, they decided it was time to do some remodeling. The couple flew across the country on vacation in order to fix up the kitchen. Bobby's a handyman and figured he could handle the job on his own. When Bobby first began the demolition, he started by beating at a small overhead space. The protrusion didn't seem to serve much purpose and was an easy launching pad since it was out of the way of the kitchen's functioning spaces. Once the outlayer came down, the inside looked like you'd expect of drywall. Without any reason to stop, Bobby continued hacking at the thing until he made a little more headway. Finally, a considerable piece came loose. The entire outer layer fell apart and Bobby was beginning to be able to see inside the strange ceiling protrusion. Though it still wasn't obvious that, if anything, the space was intended for, the answer hit Bobby in the face. It turns out the space wasn't useless after all. Things were stored up there and one of those things fell and hit Bobby's face. He and wife Megan rushed to observe the mystery item. The space above the ceiling, as is the case with most empty spaces behind walls, was full of pink fluffy fiberglass insulation. Megan thought that perhaps the area used to be a crawl space that was used for storage, but if that was the case, it had since been packed with insulation and was no longer intended for storage. Bobby cleared out the insulation material from what seemed to be a strange bag, while Megan continued to record what was happening. An empty alligator purse from Cuba was discovered. The couple assumed it might be of value. The rare purse was certainly unusual by today's standards. Wearing animal skin has become less popular as animal rights activists have pushed to end animal cruelty. The alligator purse would likely be looked down upon in modern America even if it was a fake. The owner more than likely would have been older, presumably leaving it there decades ago. The couple discovered that the purse was in fact made out of real baby alligator. Its skin was spread across the bag and its head, arms, and feet remain intact along the front and back. The rare bag would likely be of value, especially considering how carefully crafted and well preserved it is. However, what they found next was priceless. Bobby continued whacking at the ceiling to see what else might be in there. Megan told reporters that Bobby decided to tear the ceiling down at 8 o'clock in the evening, and sure enough, everything came crashing down. Insulations and items fell like rain all over the kitchen. Amongst the mess was a treasure that melted Megan's heart. First, a stained, dusty note fell out that seemed to be some sort of invitation. Next, a large book fell down. But it wasn't a usual book, it was a photo album. As they began flipping through the album, they discovered it was a record of a 1963 wedding. The vintage memento seemed like too much of a treasure not to return. Megan had already been posting to Facebook in regards to the demolition and then to the mysterious items. Now she sought to expose the findings in an effort to find the owner who left the items in the ceiling. She figured such intimate photographs must have been missed. The note that had been found was in fact an invitation. The paper was addressed to wedding guests by Mr. and Mrs. Gerard Lau on behalf of their daughter Marguerite. It was a wedding invitation for a ceremony to be held at St. Thomas Apostle RC Church in New York. Addressing the couple by the father's first and last name is one indication of how old-timey the writing was. Another is the fact that the parents of the bride did the inviting, rather than the couple getting married. St. Thomas the Apostle RC Church is photographed from the outside and inside here. The beautiful couple were married at this altar at 3 p.m. on September 14, 1963, according to the invitation. Photographs of the couple and their wedding party filled the album, and Megan and Bobby found themselves transported to this important moment in these strangers' lives. It seemed to be their duty to find out who these people were and how to get their treasures back to them. At the altar of St. Thomas the Apostle RC Church, Marguerite and Joseph said their vows. The couple committed to remaining together until death do their part, but as far as Bobby and Megan knew, they could have split up by now. They weren't sure if they were looking for a couple or if the couple had deceased, if Marguerite still held the last name Garguilo, or if one of them was now a widower. All they knew is who this couple was more than 60 years ago. More traditional wedding dresses were known for their expansive skirts embellished in this classic pose, where the bride and groom gather atop the bride's spread-out dress. The couples gathered close together while Marguerite's hand rests atop Joseph's. Megan told reporters that Bobby and her wedding photos were all digital. Since she knew that this couple had at best copies and at worst only these physical copies, she felt even more compelled to return them. A wedding day tradition that many couples still hold on to is taking photographs of the bride getting ready. The bride's big reveal is an important element of a wedding, and it's the job of the bridesmaids to ensure she looks perfect. Here, Marguerite's friends look excited as they prepare her sleeves and veil. Though the album was so old that it turned yellow, the emotions captured in it were still fresh. It's amazing how meticulously the bridesmaids match. Their dresses, headpieces, and bouquets all are precisely the same. Looking back at old photographs as these, we can see how trends have evolved with time. For example, it's unusual for bridesmaids to wear a veil at a wedding nowadays, but here they're wearing shorter, off-colored versions of the bride's veil. Though the photographs are black and white, the designs of the gowns pop. Had the photographs been colored, the albums would hold less of that vintage feel. While the bride and groom are the first to come to mind who might want the album back, the rest of the family also is without these cherished memories. The next morning, Bobby returned to the space and found another album. This album was the same as the first, only smaller, and it said "Our Children's Wedding" on the cover. Megan deduced that this must have been the parents' version of the wedding album, meaning that the family likely would be missing all of their documentation of that special day. For such a traditionally Catholic family, this photo certainly has that edgy humor of the 1960s. While the other photos show a more modest married couple, in this photograph Marguerite holds a lip to her finger while holding up a "Do Not Disturb" sign. Meanwhile, Joseph gives the OK sign in a big grin. Like most newlyweds, they probably couldn't wait to consummate the marriage. Especially for someone from Catholic descent, it can be a moment to look forward to. Megan posted photographs on her Facebook account of all that she and Bobby had found. It was important to include as many details as possible so that someone might actually identify something. Crisp images of the bride and groom's faces, clear posts of the invitations that read the address and date, and distant photos of the album itself all could be indicators to someone who'd been there or at least heard about it. In the post, Megan encouraged people to spread the word. One of Megan's Facebook friends happened to be a genealogist. She suggested the mystery bride might be Marguerite Boina, who had remarried in 1994. Ms. Boina's middle initial is an L. Noel pointed out that the marriage index said Marguerite Lillian Lau married Joseph Gargiulo in 1963. Cynthia posted a link to Marguerite Gargiulo's Facebook page saying that this woman resembles the bride in the photographs. The next step would be for Bobby and Megan to reach out for the candidates. After going viral, Bobby and Megan appeared on the news. All the publicity had people talking and wondering about the mystery wedding album. After a trip to Marguerite's home ended with no avail, Megan was more committed than ever to find this woman. Sure enough, Megan was at last successful in finding the mysterious Marguerite. She posted to Facebook that she and Bobby went to visit with the elderly woman and she was the sweetest lady, and both of us were very emotional reminiscing about her wedding day. While we'd love to say that Megan spilled all the beans about this photographed couple and why the album was hidden for all this time, she instead chose to stay vague on behalf of Marguerite's wishes. She wrote that Marguerite wants to keep her memories personal and enjoy them with her family and friends for years to come. Speculation has since circled about whether Marguerite and Joseph split or if he passed first. However, the clashing information is unverified. If you really want an answer, you'll have to sleuth for it yourself.